In this video, we're going to be talking about steroids and how there's so many more people taking them, but out of those people, how so very few ever get any lasting results. Why diet, the food that you eat, is going to be so much more important than any supplement or steroid you're ever going to take, and how so many young men and women are so much more body conscious about themselves, they're now jumping onto steroids as a solution. All that and more coming up in the video. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing steroids, all the gear and no idea. So we've got Ross and Em here from Team BTA, as always, keeping fitness simple, effective and fun. And we've got Ryan from Back on Track Fitness joining us. So tell us a little bit about yourself, mate.
So I've been a personal trainer for about 2.5 years, Back on Track Fitness, training out of True Gym over in Chatham. I met you about, say, 10 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, in the gym. Came up to you and said, can I train with you? And that was kind of where I started getting into fitness properly. And then, yeah, sort of 2.5 years later down the line, very successful personal training business. Absolutely love it. Dream job. Love seeing people achieve their goals. That's the main thing for me.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
So getting started on this video, it's important to understand fully what we're talking about. So we're going to be talking about first the pros and cons of doing steroids. So let's start with the pros, mate. So why would people want to be using steroids?
I mean, the biggest one is going to be muscle mass. So increasing your muscle mass in a very short amount of time. That kind of like full bulky look. Your endurance, your recovery rate as well, so you can train harder.
Importantly, yeah.
Yeah. And lowering that body fat percentage. That's going to be the biggest one for everyone. They want to have that lean cut body just from taking these.
Okay, so these are pros. What about the cons?
The cons. So
for men specifically to start.
Men specifically. So your testicles will start to shrink.
Okay. And why is that?
Why? So basically, when you're injecting steroids or you're injecting hormones, as in testosterone, into your body, it will naturally stop your body from producing the hormone itself. Yeah. So your testicles are responsible for that, and they will.
Hence the name testosterone.
Testosterone testicles. There we go. So yeah, it will just naturally shut down your own production of testosterone.
So having smaller testicles is not cool.
Not cool.
That's
not fun.
That's not a good look.
Not cool.
Yeah.
The other ones will be a condition called gynecomastia, which basically means the forming of breast tissue.
Or bitch tits.
Yeah, that's the other commonly known one as well. Also, loss of hair and acne or backne is more commonly in the back of most people.
So people walking around with gobstoppers on their backs and shoulders. Yep. So you mentioned about the gynecomastia. That's obviously like the bitch tits there. I've heard a bit of a myth, or I don't know if it's a myth or not, about men obviously squirting milk from their nipples. Lactating, is that a thing or?
It's not a thing. No, it's like the same getting milk out of a cat. It's not going to happen. Right? Just not. No.
Milk out of a male cat.
That won't happen. So yeah, no, you won't be lactating. Okay. You're not female. So.
And obviously we're joking about this, but obviously one of the jobs we've got here today is obviously dispel any myths about these things as well. There's a lot of bro science that goes in around it. So there are going to be things that are true and things that aren't going to be true. So as far as females are concerned, what's going to be the difference for the female?
The big difference is obviously their female form. They're going to start getting a lot more masculine characteristics. So you would get a stronger jawline. Your voice is going to be a lot deeper as well. Your breast can shrink as well as a result. That's why you
end up getting pecs.
Yeah, and that's why you see a lot of sort of like professional bodybuilders having boob jobs like that, because that's generally what happens. So it's more of getting away from that kind of like female physique and looking more masculine, because their hormones aren't built for that. They are estrogen, and that is the female dominant hormone. When you're injecting testosterone into your body as a female, that's where you're going to kind of turn into that male kind of like physical look. Yeah, that's kind of what
that's obviously not what it's about, is it? So
no, I mean, it might be that's what it's about for some people, but for average Joe or the people on the street, that's not really the look.
Really good argument. Obviously we're getting into that more. So like obviously being open and honest about this stuff is what it's all about. So what was your experience of doing steroids?
So I've been training in the gym since about sort of 16. Diet wasn't really there, quite overweight as a kid. Got into the gym when I was 16 and then started training, fell into a little bit of the wrong crowd. The people that were doing it but had like phenomenal physiques, and then suggested that I started taking these with them, that I could train with them and look like this, which I did. And yeah, I just got really, really big and not cut whatsoever. I was eating anything under the sun, drinking as well, like nothing was in place which should have been there, the foundations of fitness and nutrition. And yeah, I got up to lifting sort of like 50-kilogram dumbbells in each arm, doing bench press, and then as soon as I stopped using them, just straight back to where I was, and it probably sent all my hormones into a state of flux as well. and then yeah, it took me years to kind of like get back to normal and training, all those kinds of things. So, yeah,
so not great.
Not the best thing. I tried to get past the beginning gains too quickly, just by going straight towards the end, and that's not the way to do it.
Which is a massive setback. And really going to knock your confidence as well. We used to be able to lift that heavy, and you can't anymore.
Exactly same as my experiences. Obviously done a little bit of training, didn't really know what I was doing. Like as far as like my social group I was with was all jumping on it as well at the same time. So without any proper foundations, we've done it. And like you said, you go from literally climbing up really quickly. So you're getting strong, not necessarily getting fitter, getting bigger, but just having added exercise doesn't mean that you're going to be looking awesome. You just look bigger. So you put on a bit of weight, it gets better. And then if that's like going up, as soon as you stop it, it's like falling off the edge of a cliff. So you go from being strong, extra endurance, be able to lift heavy weights, building a bit of confidence in yourself. But for me personally, I was very skinny when I was younger. So I was 8.5 stone. I managed to get from 8.5 stone to 10.5 stone pretty quickly, which felt amazing. But the most important thing is that when I fell off the edge of that cliff and I went from 10.5 stone straight down to 9.5 stone in like less than a month, the amount of satisfaction I got from going up was nowhere near as devastating as what it was to lose that stone of weight quickly like that. Not to mention like the physical element of that, like emotionally what it felt like to have everything like that drop away and be left with a lot of the side effects, which was being spotty. Luckily I wasn't doing it long enough to lose any hair, but I know a lot of people that have like lost hair even though they were like in their 20s.
And no, it doesn't make you grey. He was already grey before that.
I actually don't mind that.
Grey inside. So we're doing pretty well. But that's the other thing, like you said, like you didn't do them long enough to get those kind of effects. And that's the other thing to think about is that you can do them once or twice, but the long or prolonged use of these things can actually be really detrimental. So, heart attacks, strokes, really not irreversible, but very, very harsh damage to your liver, especially oral steroids. Are very toxic to your liver, and that's why it's always recommended if you do those to take milk thistle. Not that I'm saying do them, but if you are, do your research. But liver toxicity is through the roof.
So what the milk thistle is going to do is going to help to detoxify your liver.
It flushes your liver out, so then you're getting rid of those toxins that you're ingesting with the oral steroids. But the long use of steroids is going to lead to these kinds of things. And
just so we're clear, the reason why the oral steroids are going to have more toxins and stuff in them because they have to use something to bind that all up into like a tablet form rather than the injectables, which will tend to be, and we'll get into just be pure steroids that get in, but obviously that doesn't tend to be the case a lot of the time now either.
And it's the difference between like when it's going intramuscular, so obviously you're injecting straight into the muscle and it's going into the bloodstream very quickly, whereas when you're taking oral, it's going through your stomach into the liver and then it's going into your bloodstream.
Through your whole digestive system
that's
first.
That's why it gets really toxic in the liver, because it has to go through that process, whereas when you're just injecting it, it's straight into the muscle, so it's either in the side of your thigh or it's in the butt cheeks as well. So
there you go, the pros and cons of obviously the steroids. So these are reasons why people would be doing them. And as far as I'm concerned, like for me, one of the two reasons why we're doing this is because obviously I've gone from working in a private studio for the last 4.5 years. I've recently gone back to training in a gym and I've seen a massive increase in how many people are asking about these things. And the Situation in Plus done like a first bodybuilding competition with them, like literally like this month, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's it. And you see the amount of people that are doing them. And I had a conversation with a bloke who is a bodybuilder. And we had this conversation. What he's saying is that the reason why people are getting this stuff wrong, and the reason why me and Ryan was doing it wrong in the first place, is there's a hierarchy of needs, what your body actually needs in order to get a proper result. And the first one is you need a foundation of food. Like you need to be eating properly first, okay? And that's just not like part-time stuff, like proper hardcore nutrition needs to be there. And the reason why people say you can't out-train a bad diet is because you can't. So once you've got your food in place first, then there needs to be training, like good quality training where you know exactly what your goal is. You're training specifically for that. And the interesting thing is, even though it comes in third, which is supplementation, which is pretty much a cherry on the cake, when I talk to these lads in the gym, the first thing I'm going to say is like, what supplements do you use? Like that's going to be the thing. So like, what protein powder did you use? And I was like, well, look, what do you eat on a daily basis? Oh, and you know what? There's KFC because it's got chicken in or something like that. Like typical conversations. I see them, they're training, but they're not training specifically and they're not consistent with their training, which means people are going in a supplementation level first. So if we've got food, then we've got training, then we've got supplements, like, and we use good supplements, like I'm sponsored by supplement brands, so things like creatine and BCAAs are important, but only after the first two levels. Then there's this missing fourth piece that everyone always misses out, which is the most important thing, which is going to be consistency over time, okay? So there's a lad who I talked to, He trains in the gym. He's a big lad, and he's been doing the food. He's been doing the training. He's got the supplementation. He's got consistency over time. Now, this is a lad who, for the last 4 years, has been doing these things, and his goal is to get on the Mr. Olympia stage. So if you see like a Ronnie Coleman or a Phil Heath or a Jay Cutler, these are people that are absolute monsters. Now, the important thing to know about this lad is that this is his life. He wants to be on that stage. He's done everything he possibly could, with the food, with the training, with the supplementation, plus he's done his consistency over time for 2 years, and he's now got across this chasm between 100 and 120 kilos on stage. So now he's in a situation where he's looking at introducing steroids into that point. Now, I don't condone it. I don't think any of the other two do. But if there's ever a situation where someone would do it, and that's going to be his profession, that's where he's at. And the interesting comment he made is that he understands that for him, it's like an occupational hazard. Like we said with the pros and cons, there's a lot of cons to using steroids, but he said in the same way that Lewis Hamilton, when he gets into his car, he knows in order for him to be the best of the best, he has to put himself at risk every time he gets into the car, just like he could crash. He's willing to accept that, but after all of those other levels first. And what we found is that when I was doing it, and Ryan was doing it at the beginning, we didn't have the foundation of food. We was doing very little training. We probably had a few protein shakes, and then we're just pumping the steroids straight into our body. It's literally not going to work. And that's the problem that we have with people. Like, if there's that lad there, and obviously we've been going to bodybuilding shows and stuff, and he's going to be in the maybe top 1-2%, that means the other 90% of the population don't really need to be using these things. And like, it's interesting we're talking about steroids, but obviously Em's like a professional female fitness model. So like, as far as women are concerned, like, from our experience in going to bodybuilding shows, like, there's not a lot of women that we see that are literally going into like a bodybuilding or physique category, which tends to be quite big women. If most of the girls are fitness models and bikini models, like, what kind of drugs, or why are these women still taking drugs when they're going to these shows? What are they looking to achieve out of it?
So there's obviously different types of steroids, and the one that kind of Russ is talking about when women come to cutting is they're taking cutting drugs. They're not looking to bulk, they're looking to shred away their body fat so they can get really, really lean to make their muscles pop. So in order to do that, sometimes people turn to steroids because it's the best way to hold on to that muscle whilst losing the fat. Because through the process of cutting, you're gonna lose some muscle, and that's why it's really important that when you're doing your bulk, you bulk to build this muscle before you shred it away, because you're going to lose some of it. So, like, how much did you lose when you was?
I went from being 72 kilos, and over the course of, 7 months or 6 months, managed to go from 72 up to 82. Yeah. As I put on 10 kilos, but then I dropped 12 kilos in 3 months.
Exactly. So that's why the bulk's really important, because you're going to drop that. So people take steroids in order to hold on to as much muscle as they can while still looking really lean. So for me, I've never done it. You know, the people in my federation and probably in my category that have done it, and that's just their personal preference. At the end of the day, some people can get quite lean naturally by doing lots of cardio and having a really strict diet like what I did, and some people might really struggle, and that's why they might do it.
Yeah, definitely. So as far as you're concerned, like, is there a space for people to be doing this kind of stuff? Are cutting drugs any different to people using steroids, or it's the same thing? People still need to be eating, and I mean, for you to get the result that you did, like, you literally went through that process. Like, how hard would you say it was for you to get yourself stage ready, and how much time did that take?
Oh yeah, definitely consistency. But then again, we're not talking about the full 12 weeks it took me to get stage ready. We're talking about the full year it took me to bulk, to be ready for that point, if that makes sense. So I took a year out to build muscle. So yeah, I built muscle consistently over a year, and that was by eating 5 to 6 meals a day, you know, training 6 days a week.
Every day we're talking about as well, like, without fail.
Every day. And then when it gets to stage prep, then that's when the cardio comes in, and the diet gets stricter, and the cheat meals get cut out and stuff. So yeah, it is very strict, and it's a completely different lifestyle people usually used to. So it is extreme.
And here's the thing that we find is that due to social media and the way things are at the moment, I think people are struggling, because there's a massive disconnect between what you see people on social media, what they look like, girls like Em and other lads who are looking really, really strong, and the actual reality of how much work it takes to get to that place, whether they're using steroids or not, whether they've done it properly. And most people, as they think they can just get that quick result, because those people...
You don't see what goes on behind closed doors at the end of the day. Like, all you see is the finished product. Yeah. Like, unless you're watching someone's vlog, you know, of their lifestyle or a show prep or something like that, you don't actually see how much work they put in a day-to-day basis. Yeah. And so people think, oh, you know, it's quite easy. They do that, I can do it. Or I see they're sponsored by this supplement company, so I'll go and take I'll go and take that supplement and that's going to make me look that big or that shredded. Like, no, like as Ross said at the end of the day, supplements like the third thing. It's just
cherry on the cake.
Yeah, it's just that extra little bit just to help you, you know, recover quicker or work harder with the gym at the day. It's not a magic pill or powder that's going to make you look, you know, bulked or like shredded in like a day or two. You
So
put the work in.
As someone who's sponsored by a supplement brand now, like, how long did that take you to get to that point where people are actually looking at searching you out? Because you're now one of these people that we're talking about. They'll look at you, look at your body, and they'll want that finished result and thinking that buying the supplements there. Like, how much work did it take you to get to the point where these supplement brands were approaching you?
Yeah, a lot of work. It's like, you know, only been recently, really, since the last 6 months. I've been doing like bodybuilding style training for the last year and a half. So it does take a lot of graft, and there's people out there who've been doing it like 2 to 3 years, you know, that are only just kind of getting approached now. So that's, I mean, it depends how much work you want to put in at the end of the day. It's not going to happen overnight.
What kind of impact do you think? Like, obviously, we're talking about females here specifically. What about males? Because we've seen a general trend that males are now, due to social media and what you see on TV, are now being more aware of their body consciousness and stuff like that. So what do you think the effect has been?
I think the main effect is, like you said, is everyone just goes straight in for the supplementation straight away. So they think it's just about all the protein powders that need to be taken. And it is, unfortunately, the fault of the supplement industry in terms of people being sponsored by different protein powders, saying that if you only take these products, this is what's going to make you look like me. You know, it's nothing about all the training or anything like that. It's just that's all you need. And realistically, they will go on record saying that I don't do steroids and I've never done steroids. I've been training since I was 16. And okay, yeah, that might be something to do with it. I'm not saying that they just taken steroids and they haven't put any of the hard work in. That's not what I'm saying.
And that's the thing. The people that you see that are going to be on them supplement brands that are doing that, which is literally the end result, like one of the biggest bits of advice that we could give you is that you cannot compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 21. So when you see the end result, you really have no understanding or concept of how hard they've had to work. Plus there's only one way you can get there, and that's that hierarchy of importance as you go through. They have done all the foundation stuff first, and they either have or haven't added that last little bit at the end, depending on what they need to. Like, you can't compare that to that. But what you won't see is you won't see that journey. You'll see the end result, and what the supplement brand will be selling you is that end product without all the other work before, okay? And it has to be that way.
Yeah, so don't think like you can, you know, just, this is what most people think, says that they could just take the supplements or take the steroids without doing any of the nutrition, any of the fitness, and get the results that they want. Because it's not going to happen. Like, you'll just get fat, really. Like when people say, well, protein powder make me fat. No, it's not going to make you fat, but if you have lots of it on a day-to-day basis without doing the nutrition and the fitness alongside it, it might just make you fat, just like having any kind of excess calories on top of that as well. Like trading,
definitely. And the other thing, again, that people miss is obviously you may get the food on point and then start training, get the supplementation in, but then the problem is if you only give it 3 weeks or 3 months and you're like, you know what, I'm doing everything right, but I'm not massive already, why can I not get on stage? Because you are missing that 4th piece.
On social media as well, people think that, you know, this is going to happen really, really quickly. People are impatient.
Yeah.
Especially our generation. Everyone's really, really impatient. And, like, you know, you've got to give it time. It's like anything. Nothing, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day.
No.
So you've got to give it time.
Well, I think we're all like, even like being in the fitness industry and like being in the gym consistently, I still have those kinds of thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you do it month to month, you're thinking, oh, I'm not really seeing any progress of that. But I've only been doing it for like 2 or 3 months. Like, you've got to give yourself enough time. Like you said, how long did it take you, obviously, to get ready for this show?
Here's the thing, right? So I've been a PT for 9 years, and I was the bloke that when I was 21, I was out, I'm going to get on front cover of Men's Health. And I wasn't fannying about, but I just got busy doing other things, and I've been different varying levels of fitness. And when I look at my photo at the beginning of the year, I've always been reasonably fit. I looked and thought, yeah, I look all right. But the difference between being average-ish and ready to go on stage was monumental. It was absolutely huge. And the difference was that 4th bit, which was consistency over time. I've always eaten all right and I've always trained pretty hard. But as soon as I actually focused that down on a goal and made sure, like what Em does religiously, 6 meals every day, never missing a training session, like, never missing a meal, like literally in all those situations, I think like, especially when I was doing my prep, the 3-month prep, and I was out with my friends, they're having curries and beers, they're like, how much do you want a curry and a beer? I was like, well, not as much as I want to win. And it's as simple as that. And to have that focus, it takes that amount in order for you to get the result of what you need. But what you also need to appreciate is that unless you want to be on stage and get that result, it doesn't take that amount of effort. You don't need to be that strict on yourself. But then you also don't need to go to the extremes of taking steroids and stuff like that, because if I didn't need to do it to be a general fitness model, and the important thing to remember is like a fitness model is like a kind of gymnast front cover of Men's Health, which 90% of the people are happy. 90% of the people are happy to be. So if you want like a six-pack, like good chest, like strong abs and legs, then you have to, trust me, you have to graft on your legs. Don't be the same guy who's like chest and abs man for all the time and then like forgot about your legs. But if you, unless you want to be like a big body, you don't need to do that. It'll take you like 9 months.
That's the thing that you're seeing a lot of now is people doing it when they don't need to do it.
That's the problem.
In the bodybuilding industry. There's different categories, obviously, and the category I fall into is fitness. So some people, you know, do it, but then bikini, which is lower than me, is someone that's a lot softer. You know, they're just looking for a naturally slimmed, beautiful girl. They're not looking for someone with hard abs and hard muscles, which comes from taking, you know, cutting steroids. But people are doing it anyway because they think they need to, because it's just the in thing to do, and they're making themselves really ill, or they're coming out looking really ill because they haven't done it properly or they've had no guidance. And
that's the biggest problem. So what they're doing, they're going in for something that doesn't require any extra drugs or anything. They're not doing the proper work before it, taking the drugs, which means they're getting all of the downsides and none of the benefits. And obviously short term, they're going to be feeling a little bit rubbish. But like we said at the beginning, the long-term effects will be absolutely massive if you keep doing it. So if you're not, like we said, in that top 2% of people that are proper bodybuilders that really need to do it, then there's really no point of doing it, really.
That's what I say to people as well, like if you like to go out and have a beer, and you like to go out and go to a party every now or have a pizza every now and then, like just do it. Like, or would you rather have abs all year round and look shredded all year round and do none of that stuff? And what would you pick? And then, oh yeah, I do kind of like
that's what we tell. Like that's what we tell my clients. Like, you know, when I sit them down and we go through nutrition and stuff like that, I say to them, it's about 70% nutrition. You can't out-train a bad diet. I don't want you not to have a life. Like, I want you to have a life, and I want you to train and see results. Just be realistic. So if you've gone out every weekend and you've been drinking every weekend, do you think at the end of the month that's going to help you? Like, just think about it realistically.
Why am I not shredded? What's happened?
I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but just think about it. You know,
it happens.
I want people to have a life, you know, and I want the people to have fun, and they can still see results. Like, we always work on the rule like 80% good, 20% bad, right? I would think.
Well, here's the thing, like, what's the level of discomfort that you're willing to put up with? Because if you want to be on stage, right, and you want to be shredded, and you want to come in like the top 5 in a bodybuilding show, then there's gonna be a lot of discomfort there. There's gonna be a lot of nights you can go out where you can't drink. There'll be a lot of times you wake up in the morning, your body is so aching and sore, you won't even be able to walk up the stairs to the gym and you've got to train legs. You'll have to do that for literally months, a year. And if you're serious about doing it, like the bloke I was talking about at the gym, he's gonna do that for 10 years of his life. And he won't even miss a week out. And that's the kind of level you're doing. That's like 95% nutrition. But most of us, if you just want like a good looking body and you want to
feel healthy.
Yeah, feel healthy. Feel strong, then
feel good about yourself.
70, 80. So like, to wrap this up then, if most of the people that are going to be watching this, we're in November now, right? So the next time is, when it's getting warm, they're going to be going on holiday, looking sick, wearing a short little pair of shorts, cheeky ones on the beach.
So when's the best time to start?
Well, the thing is, right, we've got a thing where we're saying the best time, or the only way to build a summer body is you need to do it in the winter. So summer bodies are built in the winter. And what that means is, at this point, you can now plug in that bit that everyone's missing, which is consistency over time, okay? It doesn't have to be mental. If you're working at like a 70 or 80% good, that means be prepared that if you start now and do what most people do, where you think, you know what, I'll start after Christmas, because, you know, Christmas is going to be... Yeah, starting a new year.
Same day tomorrow,
Then what happens is you'll be in the same as 90% of the people that get to when it starts getting warm and they start freaking out and doing these silly diets where they're cutting all their calories down or doing meal replacements and stuff like that, which isn't what it's about, because it's a short-term fix, exactly like the mindset of people that are using steroids or cutting drugs at the last minute. It's a quick fix solution, which is not what it's about. If you want a lasting lifestyle change, then you need to be giving yourself consistency over time. So why not start doing it now? Start training consistently. You can get food plans from anyone. You can get a decent food plan from specific people, but most of it is just a bit of common sense. If you just eat clean 8% of the time.
They're really good apps. Like, I'm going to be doing a video in the new year in January on the 5 best training apps like, that you can just download. Like, you can just download them on the App Store. Some of them are bodyweight, some of them are really simple. But just stuff like that. Going online, just doing a little bit of research.
And if you want a good way to kind of track your food as well, like my fitness plan.
Oh, it's awesome.
That, like, just to make sure that you're not kind of like exceeding like what you should be eating on a day-to-day basis, and it works all out for you as well. So that's an awesome one to check out.
If you're in the 1 or 2% of people, it's not the top, just different, that are literally prepping to be in a bodybuilding show, they put 4 or 5 years worth of work into it, and that is going to be their life, their sole purpose. You do not need to be using steroids or cutting drugs. That's not what it's about, really. Otherwise, what I promise you will do, you will get all of those cons that we spoke about with none of the benefits at all. And then after that, all you've got to do is look at what level of convenience you're willing to put up with the result that you want. And if you're like most people, you just want a hot summer body, start putting the work in now. Is there anything else, Ryan?
No, I think that's mainly all the points here.
Yeah,
that's very good.
All good.
That's it. Well, thank you for watching, everyone.
Thank you for joining us, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Ryan.
Thank you for having me.
Please put all your comments and stuff under the video. We get all of our best content from the questions that you ask us. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Been watching BTA and Back on Track Fitness, as always, keeping fitness simple, effective and fun. And we will see you in the next video. Peace.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Ryan Bayliss. You might remember me from such films as...
Yeah.
Your leg's shaking.
That are literally not on purpose. Just from being so fucking cold.
Oh no, it's involuntary muscle spasms. Yes, that is right. I'm wearing a training top and black jeans. You're right. It is very cold. Should just have my hands.
It's a little bit about... Try that again. Coffee is going through my veins.
That's free. Free, like it's 2 hours.